Hi everyone, thanks for joining me on my mission to create some backgrounds for mixed media scrapbook layouts using very inexpensive or minimal supplies, maybe even something you already have in house. I'm going to start the first tutorial with a very inexpensive set of watercolour paints. You can get these paints and the paintbrushes in the likes of Poundland or Pound World. You can get a little set of paintbrushes for, you know, £1 that might have even up to 5 paintbrushes in, and they don't need to be posh, they don't need to be flashy, they are very inexpensive. And also they have in there, in the children's department, they have little palettes of paints, and you might get 8 or 10 different circular little spots of colour. And I happen to have this one here, which I use for my always have it in my crop bag because it's handy to have. And basically you just wet down the colour that you want. I'm going to use this sort of rusty colour here because I'm using a creamy coloured background, so I think it's nice to go autumnal. And then you just tap with your finger dum 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 over here and get some of the colour onto your page. I think it's a nice colour against that creamy colour background. Of course you can use white or you can use any pale colour, and if you're using a bright colour, a dark colour, you can use perhaps an acrylic paint, which will show up more, and water that down significantly and splatter that in the same manner. I've got this yellow here that I'm going to do as well, in addition to the those browny colours, and again splosh it on my background just to give it a little bit of brightness as well. I think it's always better to be generous with plenty of sploshing, because you tend to end up covering half of it up. So be generous, don't be mean with your sploshes. That's a technical term, of course, a splosh. So that's all I'm doing just with my watercolour at the moment. I'll show you another one shortly. Then in addition to that, you might have some coffee or tea, and this is just instant decaf as it happens, and you can do a couple of little printy bits. You might get in a bit of a mess doing this, so perhaps do be aware and not wear your best clothes. Sometimes you might get a bit splashed. So that's really one background already done. And how many seconds did that take? Not long at all. And then I just put it to one side to dry it, just because I've put quite a lot on there, and if I tried to dry it with a hairdryer or anything like that, it would start to warp and buckle the paper. So just leave it and put it to one side, and you'll be able to come back to it later. Another simple technique that I like to use is on a piece of paper like this, is I would use, I should have cleared my desk up properly before I started this. I would use an ink pad, and hopefully you can see this. I'm just going to check that you can see that. I'm going to move my piece of paper to start with. Squish a nice juicy ink pad. This is a Versamark ink pad, which is called Royal Blue, and then I get a little mister, spray it on there like that. Bit of packaging. This is just off a stencil that I had, and literally dab it on. You might not like what you see, but that's fine. Just carry on until you are happy with what you see. I'll just do a bit more here. Hopefully you can see it. But again, just use a little bit more. You can use 2 colours, you can use 1 colour, but it's a real simple technique. I don't like to see sort of edges on mine. I don't want to see like a straight line. So idea is to sort of move it around a bit, and then you've got your blue, and these are blue background, just in the background like that. So that's 1 colour. You could use a second colour. I've got a nice bright yellow one here, which will go really quite nicely with the blue. And squish it down again on my glass worktop. This is Canary Yellow by Versacolor, and again a little bit of water, and using my packaging again, just put a piece, just put some nice yellow on there too. Probably didn't have enough yellow on there, but you can see that it's now a nice mottled colour. And use it all up, and then just simply wipe down your worktop. If you've got a glass worktop, it's brilliant, but if you've got a laminate worktop, just wipe it down pretty quickly after so that it doesn't stain. In addition, you can get these baking sheets, which you can again pick up in the cooking department in the pound shops, and this you can put paint on, you can put ink on, you can, you know, have all sorts of things, and it won't stain, it won't make a mess at all. You just literally wipe it up with your tissue and it comes clean. So I can thoroughly recommend these if you haven't got something suitable and you're worried about your kitchen worktop, which why wouldn't you be? At the end of the day, we need to look after what we've got now, because none of us have got a lot of spare cash. Okay, so that's two very, very quick and very simple ways of using ink to create a mixed media background. Of course, you can use expensive or more expensive mists and things that are specific for mixed media. This is a Cosmic Shimmer. This is a Tattered Angels, and this one's a Dilutions. They are all versions of the same. One's got shimmer, one hasn't got shimmer, this one's got shimmer. So, you know, you just pick and choose what you like, really. These will set you back £4 or £5 per bottle, though. So by the time you've bought lots of different colours, which is what you're going to want, it's going to set you back a few pennies. So I think, you know, using these, which will last you years. I've had these a couple of years at least. Probably 5 years now, knowing me, and you can see, you know, I do use them quite a lot, and there's still loads left. Use the makeup sponges. Again, you can buy a pack of those in the cheap shops for makeup sponges, and you can use that for stenciling. I've got a little stencil here. I picked that up at Hobbycraft in the sale. It was 49p. I think that's what came out of there. So, you know, again, we are talking pennies. We're not talking about a lot. If you do manage to get yourself some stencils, and also you can get them on pre-loved stash sites quite often. People pass them on when they finish with them. They've done their whatever they're making, or they're just bored with using that, or they bought it and never used it. But at 49p, I don't think you can really worry too much. And I'm doing a little bit of stenciling here, and I'm doing a little bit of stenciling here, and I'm just rubbing this sponge ink pad over the top, and so that you can see how simple it is to create a mixed media background. By the time you've got your photographs and everything, it will be covered up half of it anyway. So that's it for now, and I'll come back with a second episode later.